Welcome everyone to episode 21 of Blueprint. My name is Bobby Machado, CEO of Signa Marketing. If this is your first time checking out the show, this is basically just a fun Q&A style show in which I answer any and all digital marketing questions on how to market your business online. It's been a while since we did the last episode. I got sick and it kind of just trailed from there. So we're gonna finish the year off strong with a couple more episodes. We got caught up with a lot of good questions, which I appreciate. So without any further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the first question.
What exactly can I do if my paid media campaigns didn't turn out as expected?
Cool, this is a great question. And if anything, this is one of those points where a lot of small business owners get stuck and end up saying, you know what, the platform didn't work for me, or the offer wasn't right, or anything like that. And they kind of abandon the whole effort. The thing about marketing campaigns, whether it's big or small, is you have to get started. It is an investment. You're going to test. And so what I really would like to do is reset expectations that, you know, it's not about just launching the campaign and tomorrow you're having, you know, sales and leads coming through. I know that ideally you would like that, and we would all like that, but there are certain industries, certain sectors, certain geographic locations where you're going to have to test. And so I would say once you get started and you have ran campaigns, whether it's on paid search like Google or Bing, or paid social campaigns on a social network like Instagram or Facebook, is make sure that you're paying attention to what the reaction is and how to analyze the data from your campaign so that you can assess, you know, the data and kind of determine where to go from there. So it could be a lot of variables. Is your offer an incentive there that's actually going to lure people to really get persuaded to take action? Are you targeting the right audience, of course? Which, if anything, a lot of these platforms are pretty darn good at targeting. I mean, for example, if you're targeting a paid search campaign, if you're buying the right keywords, those keywords have super high intent. So usually it's not a targeting issue because from a targeting aspect, you know, if you're targeting the right keywords, or if you're on paid social and you're targeting the right interests and demographics, or if you uploaded a customer list to use as a custom audience, you're already kind of setting up those campaigns up for success. So the next layer after that is looking at your ad creative. Is it engaging? Is it strategized correctly? Again, there's a lot of variables there. So that's what I would look at, is look into, after you've looked at your targeting stuff, is look at the actual ad creative, the ad formats that you're using, and adjust from there. If you are getting traffic and say your ads are working great and people are landing on your landing page and then not taking action, then you know that it's the third step of the funnel, is to look at your landing page and see, is it being super clear of how to take action? Is it super relevant to what was being offered on the ad? You know, you want to make sure that messaging and intent between all those three items are consistent. So your targeting, your ad, and then your landing page must be super relevant. Otherwise, you might have your targeting and your ad really, you know, on point, but your landing page is dropping the ball. So again, look at those other variables before giving up. And again, it's an investment. Once you find the strategy that's going to work really good for your business and your target demographic, then you can start thinking about how to scale it from there.
What metric is best to measure for search ads performance?
So I would say that, of course, like everyone, I mean, it's like almost like a duh that you would measure conversions as far as like how many leads or how many sales were acquired. But to dive a little bit further, you do want to look at other KPIs, other key performance indicators, like your click-through rate. You know, how relevant and engaging is the actual ad in terms of capturing traffic or that desired action. So that would be one item there. Another thing that I would look at deeper is and this is kind of looking at the full customer journey, because is seeing, you know, maybe if conversions are not happening, but you start to see more conversions coming through organic or direct, you want to start to see how paid media or these campaigns may be influencing those other channels. And so that's another kind of form of KPI that I would be looking at is seeing how conversions are happening on other channels and seeing if my paid media campaigns are having any influence there, because that if they are, then it does tell me, okay, well, we don't want to stop paid media, because there's some credit to attribute to paid media if we're kind of getting people introduced to a product or a brand or a service, and then they're doing their own research and then coming back via direct traffic or organic. And so that would be another KPI that I'd be looking at in that regards. But and then lastly would be, in terms of campaign efficiency, making sure that your campaigns are structured and optimized and managed in a way where you're really squeezing out as much opportunity as possible within that ad budget. And so there's a lot of tactics, whether it's on paid search, you're being super efficient on keyword bid strategies and looking at that cost per click and really trying to get it super reduced, or on paid social, where you're working on really making that ad creative super engaging so that you can get that cost per click to be lower, or even looking at your targeting and make sure that it's wide enough so that you can be attaining a lower cost per click, and then start to retarget those same people that did engage with your ad. That's another way. So of course, cost per click is going to be another KPI that's super important, because that's really going to dictate how much traffic you can attain within that same ad budget. So those are some KPIs I would be looking for.
I have a brand new Google Ads search campaign. Can I wait to add negative keywords?
Absolutely not. You want to start, out the gate, there's a base, at least a base general list of negative keywords that you want to start out with. A lot of typical ones would be like the word video or blog, how to, college, tutorial, class, stuff like that. Because say, for example, you're running search campaigns for a lawyer, there's going to be a lot of different keywords around lawyer, whether it's going to, Harvard or stuff like that. And so you want to make sure that if you're a lawyer and you're actively pursuing clients, you don't want to be coming up for any irrelevant keywords like that. So out of the gate, there's a base of keywords that you do want to start with. My recommendation is, if you're brand new to this, is simply do keyword research, whether it's going even to regular Google, using Google Keyword Planner, or a more sophisticated tool like SEMrush. That's fine as well. But make sure you do your keyword research and identify the keywords that are around that topic that you're going for, but that are still irrelevant to what your offer is. That way you start out of the gate with a base. What you want to stay away from 100% is starting an account without any negative keywords. That's a big no-no. So definitely at least start with a base and then continue to build from there. One thing, once you launch your campaigns, is over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, start to look at your search terms report to identify other keywords or key phrases that have come up that you do not want to be showing up for. That's how you can really further refine your negative keyword list and continue to build it out from there.
Should I keep my search and display campaigns separate?
Yes, absolutely. I recommend that. I don't recommend using the campaign type where it mixes both search and display ads in one. The reason why is so that you can have budget control. You want to be able to control budget between a display network campaign and a search network. So say, for example, you have $1,000 a month, say $33 a day, and you split that between a search and a display campaign. I would rather have more control instead of having the network allocate those funds. I'd rather have more control and say, you know what, I want to take $10 a day and put it towards the display campaign and the rest into search. That way you have way more control over the budget as far as how it's being invested. That's my recommendation. I would not allow the network to have that control.
What are some ways to test ad copy?
So a couple of different ways is, of course, testing your headline if it's a search ad, a text search ad, and even a lot of the details in terms of your description, for example, on paid search, it's very accustomed to actually capitalize all the words in the description of a search ad to make it more prominent. That's a super common strategy. Also making sure that the URL, display URL paths are actually optimized that can help influence click-through rate. So those variables on a search network I'd be looking at. When it comes to paid social, definitely your headline is important, but more importantly is also the ad creative itself. So the image or the video creative that's actually being used, that's used to stop someone in their tracks, that's super critical. Because typically what happens is they'll see that video, they'll see that image that visually stops them, and then if it piques their interest, then you have really good optimized ad text that really takes someone through the whole journey. So starting out with what that initial pain point is, kind of building some context there, and then presenting the solution, then the social proof and credibility, and then followed by a call to action. And all those variables can be tested. And so I would definitely start from that aspect. One cool thing you can be doing is use tools like SEMrush or SpyFu or anything like that to look at how your competitors are writing their ad text and see what they've been testing. Another thing to do is go into Facebook in terms of their ad library and look up competitors that are possibly running ads, and there you can actually see all the ads that they're running on Facebook, and so that can kind of give you an idea as far as what types of verbiage they're testing and kind of go from there. But yeah, so those would be the variables that we would definitely test, whether it's paid search or paid social.
Should I set all my campaigns to automated bid strategies?
No, out of the gate, absolutely not. This is my take on it. When you have a brand new account, there is no conversion data to leverage or to go off of or anything like that. And so first you need to have manual control of the actual campaign itself and do all manual bidding, all of it, manual bidding. As you start to get conversions and conversion data getting funneled back into the system, then you can actually start to leverage conversion data to use an automated bid strategy later down the road. And I'm talking maybe like 60, 90 days. This is our approach of how we kind of tackle it, because what we do find is that we find a lot of advertisers, if anything, that try to just allow the network to do auto bidding from the gate. And the thing is that you have like, for example, with Google, you have maximize conversions, maximize clicks, target CPA, etc. A lot of these automated bid strategies can potentially work, but it really depends on how much data has been funneled back into the actual ad account after it's been running for a little bit. So we start with manual CPC. For search networks, maybe we'll go into enhanced CPC if we start to see some conversion data coming through. Once we have enough of it, at least like 15 conversions coming in per month, then we start to look at target CPA. Maximize conversions maybe before target CPA. But you know, the thing is that if there's not enough conversion data coming through, or for whatever reason, for that market and those keywords that you're going after, there's not enough historical data or something like that, it's going to be really tough for the actual system to optimize itself to be able to acquire more conversions or anything like that. So the bad scenario is that the system could hike up all your CPCs like astronomically, where it exhausts your budget super quick throughout the month, so you actually get less traffic within the same ad budget. And so we really try to stay away from those types of scenarios, especially with a lot of the small business clients that we work with. You know, we're working between budgets of $1,000 to $8,000 a month, and so it's not like buku bucks where you can really have a ton of money just to really just throw out there. It's not, you know, especially when you're working with the small business sector. So that's why we like to have more control of the reins when we're starting accounts. And so I would definitely recommend starting with manual CPC. And then from there, you can test automated bid strategies once you have enough conversion data. All right, everyone, that concludes episode 21. I really appreciate the questions. It was really, if anything, awesome to kind of gather a lot of good questions, especially around paid media. As you know, paid media SEO and websites is really what we focus on here at Cigna, and so that's where we have developed more of our expertise in those areas. If you do have questions, definitely submit them. I always encourage, the more specific your question to your specific scenario, the better. There's a lot of general information out there, and so what we strive to do in this show is really get really deep into really specific scenarios. So the more specific, the better. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell if you want to be notified about new episodes that are released here on our YouTube channel. Other than that, I hope everyone's doing well, and we're going to see you on episode 22.